Recently, two big video game studios had massive leaks. Insomniac Games and Rocksteady Studios, and while I'm not going to go over detailed specifics of the leaks, I am going to go over some of the more widely known aspects and break down the good and bad of what I saw as I was looking into this. But without further ado, I'm Pin, this is Critical Hit, and today we're discussing the recent game studio leaks. I want to start by saying I do not want to glorify what the leakers, or in Insomniac's case, hackers, are doing, because developers work very hard to produce products for consumers, and this definitely diminishes their efforts. I do think it's worth discussing what we have coming on the horizon, so we make an assessment on the gaming industry and our favorite IPs, especially if those IPs look to be in serious trouble in the future. And we know the current direction will inevitably leave it worse than it was previously. Alright, so first let's discuss Insomniac. These were hackers in this case, and they wanted 50 Bitcoin, or about $2.1 million USD at the current value. They were given a 7-day deadline to pay, and Rocksteady decided they weren't going to negotiate with terrorists on this one.
Blackmail me with money? Go fuck yourself. But go fuck yourself.
As expected, the hackers leaked the info, and this one is particularly bad for the company and the developers really, and not just because information for the company leaked, but personal information like passport scans were also there. And with their games, I still believe the Spider-Man 2 story was a significant downgrade from the first, but there's no doubting that they improved on a lot of the mechanics and combat to make an objectively good game and sequel for both Marvel and Sony. I'm not going to display what the leaks are up on screen, so Insomniac doesn't copyright this video into oblivion. But the leaks were massive in this case. We have a release date scheduled until 2030, and a lot's not surprising. But the big news is that Spider-Man 3 looks like it's going to be split into two parts. Ratchet & Clank lost hundreds of millions of dollars on Rift Apart, and we're not going to see a new one now till 2029. And we're going to get an X-Men game made by Insomniac in 2030. Hopefully they don't base it on the movie as described in her video. And one of the best things I saw was the footage of Wolverine, and while I don't know a ton about the story, I think they nailed it on the gameplay aspect. Wolverine seems visceral and the fights look savage, but really grounded. Kind of like what you would expect, but in a good way. And again, say what you will about the story catering too much to modern audiences, but they know how to do gameplay, and their leaks overall made me excited for their future, and really Sony's with their first party titles. Especially because the license agreement makes it look like Insomniac may have exclusivity to making X-Men games till at least 2035. I guess Marvel likes what they did with Spider-Man. The second leak come from Rocksteady Studios, and specifically the new Suicide Squad game called Kill the Justice League. These leaks were contained to one game, but the leaks were incredibly detailed about the story. After hearing the audio and seeing some of the photos, this actually made me a lot less excited for Rocksteady's future. I know Rocksteady is coming down hard on people that are even talking about this right now, so I'm just going to say the visuals are a significant downgrade. Someone named Ivy may now feel her name is poisoned, and looks like a certain young Save the Planet activist, and I think the most optimistic view of the game's story is that it's going to piss off a lot of DC fans. It will be a travesty of a send-off to Kevin Conroy's last voicing of Batman, and really the universe of Rocksteady built with the Arkham games. But all the DC superheroes you grew up with will unfortunately, in some sense, get a similar treatment. But hey, I guess it was called Kill the Justice League. I know a lot of the current developers at Rocksteady are not the ones who did the original Arkham games, and unless this game is a live service, has an incredible gameplay loop, tight combat, and is mechanically sound, I don't think it's going to be the win Rocksteady needs. The story is optimistically described as rough, and it won't be enough to keep me coming back. This game also comes 8 years after the last Arkham game, and that's a long time to spend in development, and if it doesn't succeed, well, Warner Bros. Discovery just doesn't have the money to keep them running. And recent analysts even predict that they have a 60% chance to go bankrupt, and I would hate to see Rocksteady Studios go out like this. It would be unfortunate if this was the last big DC IP we get, because everything about the game I've seen so far just doesn't make me want to buy it, play it, or even think it's going to be a success when it comes out. I know the WB is desperate for that cash cow, and they wanted a live service game to have those continuous microtransactions. They're very lucrative, I hear, but they should have let the studio do what it does best. Make the single player games like the Arkham ones. I mean, those are the definitive Batman games. Let the studio do the single player Superman game like they originally wanted to. I mean, this is what Rocksteady knows. It's what it does best, it's what fans want, and I of course believe it would have worked out better for them. But those are the leaks, and like I said, I didn't want to get too into them, but overall Insomniac's future actually looks pretty bright to me. And Rocksteady Studios looks like, unfortunately, they may have a flop on their hands. Two big game companies seeing massive leaks like this is unfortunate for the industry, and I hope it doesn't affect too many people. but I also hope maybe, just maybe, fans can give Rocksteady a wake-up call for being on the wrong direction in this new game. Maybe it's too late, but also maybe it's better late than never. But that's all I got. Thanks for sticking with me till the end, and let me know your thoughts about the leaks down below. If you like what you heard, leaving a like on the video actually goes a long way to helping us continue what we do. I'm Ben, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.